He secretly took loans in my name while I was pregnant. I found out when they came to reposses my car. I was 7 months pregnant when I lost my car. And no, it wasn't an accident, or theft, or anything you'd see in a normal story. It was taken. Repossessed. While I stood barefoot at my front door, holding a glass of orange juice and wondering why two strange men in black uniforms were asking for my keys. "Mrs. Daniels?" one of them asked. "Yes? We're here on behalf of Sterling Credit Bureau. This vehicle has defaulted on several payments. We have authorization to reclaim it today." I blinked. My brain couldn't keep up. "I think there's a mistake," I stammered. That's not even in my husband's name." "No, ma'am. It's in yours." I remember my hands trembling so badly, the juice spilled. It soaked through the white of my maternity dress and I just stood there, speechless, my baby kicking softly beneath my ribs. They took the car right there. In front of the neighbors. In front of my pride. I walked back inside on shaking legs, dialed my husband's number, and waited. He didn't pick. And suddenly, so many things started to make sense. The secret of calls. The late nights. The random debts he swore he was handling. The way he dismissed me when I asked questions, like I was just a hormonal mess. That night, after crying until my eyes swelled shut, I did something I never thought I'd do. I opened my laptop, searched my name on the credit report portal. And what I found nearly made me pass out. 4 loans. All in my name. All unpaid. All taken while I was carrying his child. He didn't just break my trust. He robbed me quietly, selfishly, cruelly. I was pregnant and broke, and the man I loved had made me both. And that was only the beginning. I waited for him to come home that night. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I just sat in the living room, belly heavy, heart heavier. When he walked in casually, like the world hadn't just shattered, he dropped his keys in the bowl and gave me a tired glance. "You're still up?" I didn't speak. I just turned the laptop screen to face him. My credit report glowed on the screen. 4 loans. All in my name. All approved using documents only he had access to. His eyes barely flicked to it before he said, "Clara, let me explain." "Explain what, Emeka? That you used my name? My ID? My signature? While I was carrying our child?" I was desperate, he snapped, the mask slipping. "I was trying to handle some things for us business stuff. I didn't want to bother you. You didn't want to bother me, so you stole from me?" His silence was the worst confirmation. I couldn't breathe. I was carrying a child, and I was looking at a man who had risked both our futures without a second thought. "How long were you planning to lie to me?" I whispered. He rubbed his face, sighing like he was the victim. "I thought I could pay it off before you found out. Things just got tight. Things got tight because you keep trying to live like you're richer than you are. The car, the clothes, the fake lifestyle. You wanted to look like a man, but couldn't carry responsibility like one." That was the first time I saw real anger in his eyes. Not regret. Not shame. Just rage. At being exposed. "You're overreacting," he muttered. "It's not like I killed someone." "No," I said quietly, "but you killed us." And I meant it. Because in that moment, the man I thought I married no longer existed. He died with every fake loan, every forged form, every night I stayed up planning a future he was secretly destroying. And still, I stayed. Not because I forgave him. But because I needed to figure out how to survive with a baby on the way and a mountain of debt I didn't create. But I was watching him now. Carefully. Because betrayal like that doesn't just happen once. It's a pattern. And Emeka? He was just getting started. The morning after that confrontation, he acted like nothing happened. He made tea. Hummed in the kitchen. Kissed my forehead on his way out. The audacity was almost funny almost. I spent that entire day gathering pieces of my life he had scattered. I called the loan companies. One by one. I asked for details. I asked for documents. And what I discovered left me trembling. He had faked my signature. On all 4 loans. He had uploaded my ID, utility bills, even a fake employment letter claiming I was earning over $700K monthly. I hadn't earned a salary since I left work at 5 months pregnant. It wasn't a mistake. It was planned. Calculated. And he did it without flinching. I sat in the silence of our apartment, staring at the walls I once painted with love. The baby kicked gently inside me. A reminder that something beautiful still lived in the chaos. By evening, I called my bank. "Madam," the voice on the line said, "we flagged a new loan attempt 2 days ago under your name. It was rejected due to existing debt. Would you like to report identity fraud?" I almost dropped the phone. He was still trying to borrow. I waited until he got home. He walked in with plastic bags of suya and malt, like he was the best husband in the world. I didn't speak until he sat. "Why were you trying to take another loan in my name 2 days ago?" He froze. I saw the panic rush to his face like heat. "What are you talking about? Don't lie to me, Emeka." And just like that, the man who once vowed to protect me started to unravel. He stood up, voice raised. "You don't know what I'm dealing with, Clara. You think everything is so easy? I'm trying to build something for us. This is temporary." "No," I said calmly. "This is theft. And I won't let you ruin me." He stared at me, jaw clenched. "So what now?" I looked him straight in the eyes. "You have 1 week. 1 week to fix this. Or I report you." He laughed bitterly. "To the police? Your husband? You do that? You're not my husband. You're a fraud in my house." And in that moment, I knew something else: he didn't love me. Not really. He loved what I gave him, stability, a name, a home, and access. But love? Love doesn't violate. Love doesn't leave you buried in debt while pregnant and scared. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay beside a man I no longer recognized, wondering how many more secrets he was hiding. And I promised myself, once this baby comes, I'll rebuild. Even if it means walking away with nothing but my name and my child. I didn't want to tell my mother. Not yet. But I broke down on the phone while trying to sound normal. It was the silence that gave me away. "Mummy?" I whispered, wiping my tears. She didn't respond right away. I could hear her breathing, slowly, like she was trying to keep calm. "Clara," she said gently, "what is happening in that house?" So I told her. Everything. From the repo men who took my car, to the fake loans, to the way Emeka now walked around with zero remorse like I was the one who caused the mess. And when I finished, she said something that made my heart drop. "I warned you about him." I sat in silence. "Mummy. What are you talking about?" She exhaled deeply. "I didn't want to ruin your marriage, Clara. I thought he'd grow up. I thought if you loved him enough, he'd change." "What do you mean?" "Your uncle knew his family. That man had issues from the start. His father ran off with another woman. His older brother is in jail for fraud. We found out Emeka was expelled from university for exam malpractice but covered it up with fake transcripts." My heart dropped. "You knew this before the wedding?" "I begged your father to talk you out of it, but you were already deep in love. He said we shouldn't interfere. So I kept quiet. For peace. I couldn't breathe. So they knew. They all knew. The red flags I ignored. The secrets I thought were just paranoia. The gut feeling I buried beneath love and baby clothes. It was all real. And worse, I was the last to know. By the end of that call, I sat there on the floor, completely numb. My world felt like a glass that had been cracked in the middle, still standing, but broken all the way through. Later that night, Emeka walked in drunk. I helped him to the couch without saying a word. I watched him sink into sleep, muttering nonsense about people not understanding vision. And in that moment, I realized something. He didn't feel guilty. He felt entitled. He believed I was supposed to carry the weight of his bad decisions because I was his wife. But I wasn't his wife anymore. Not in my heart. Not in my soul. I was something else now. A woman preparing her exit. And when I leave, I'm taking everything he tried to steal back with me. I stopped arguing with him. No more shouting. No more questions. Just silence. And in that silence, I began to move. The first thing I did was visit the bank, in person this time. I told them everything. I filed a formal report for identity theft. They said the process would be long, but it was possible. Then I made photocopies of every fake document used. I kept them in a folder labeled just in case. The next thing I did? I opened a new account, different bank. Changed my BVN. Changed my email passwords. Took every naira left in our joint savings and transferred it to my personal one. It wasn't much, but it was mine. He noticed 3 days later. "What happened to our account?" he barked, storming in. I looked him dead in the eyes. "Our account? There is no R anymore." He cursed under his breath and slammed the door. But he didn't lay a hand on me. Not yet. He knew something had shifted. The Clara he could manipulate was gone. But I didn't stop there. I called a lawyer. Quietly. A family friend. Told him everything. He told me the loans would be hard to erase, but with proper documentation and proof of fraud, we had a fighting chance. I asked about divorce. About protecting my unborn child's future. About pressing charges if things got worse. He said, "Start building evidence now. Don't confront him again. Just watch. Gather." So I did. Meanwhile, Emeka grew restless. He started sleeping out more. Coming home drunk. Sometimes, I could smell perfume on his shirt, cheap, floral, not mine. It didn't even sting anymore. I wasn't trying to fix him. I was trying to escape him. One night, I overheard him on the phone, whispering, "She's acting funny, man. I think she's planning something. If she tries anything, I'll deal with her." I recorded it. Added it to the folder. Every step he took deeper into darkness, I stood calmly on the edge, taking notes. And still, I smiled. I cooked. I washed his clothes. Because that's what women do when they're preparing for something big. We become invisible. Until it's time to vanish. Labor came early. 36 weeks. Stress-induced, the doctor said. My body had carried too much pain, fear, betrayal. It finally let go. The hospital was cold. Sterile. But the moment I held my daughter in my arms, I felt warmth again. Real warmth. Not the kind Emeka faked with empty words. This was mine. This was love. She was perfect. Tiny, quiet, strong. Like me. Emeka came to the hospital smelling like beer. He brought flowers and a teddy bear from a roadside vendor, and a smile that didn't touch his eyes. He held her awkwardly, like she was glass. Then he said, "She looks like me." I looked away. He left 20 minutes later. Said he had urgent business. Didn't come back till the next evening. That night, a nurse walked in and sat beside me. "Madam," she said quietly, "I don't mean to intrude, but your husband, he came here last week. He asked about your delivery schedule, room number. Even if we do DNA testing here." My heart sank. "He told us he lost his wife's folder and wanted to confirm some things," she continued. But something about him felt off. I thanked her. But inside, I was already breaking. He didn't come to support me. He came to plan something. Something dark. The next morning, I got a call from the lawyer. "Clara," he said, "I just received word one of the loan companies filed a petition. They're trying to sue you. The documents Emeka submitted have your fingerprints and a voice clip. He must have used your sleeping voice or edited a call. This is serious." I sat there, in a hospital gown, with my daughter cradled against me, shaking. He was trying to ruin me. Completely. Even with a newborn in my arms. That night, when Emeka returned, I didn't let him into the room. The nurse stood guard. I texted him 2 words, "We're done." He called. Messaged. Cursed. Threatened. I recorded it all. And when I was discharged, I didn't go home. I went to my parents. With my baby. With my evidence. With my name. And I told my lawyer, I want him exposed. Fully. I want the world to know who he really is. I didn't have to go looking for his secrets. They came to me like flies to rot. One afternoon, 2 weeks after I'd moved in with my parents, a message popped up on Instagram. A woman. Her profile was private, but her message wasn't. "Hi Clara. I don't mean to cause problems, but I think we've both been fooled by the same man." Her name was Ruby. She wasn't the first woman Emeka had been seeing. She was the one he was planning to replace me with. She sent screenshots. Voice notes. Pictures of him asleep in her bed. Dates that overlapped with my pregnancy. And worse, messages where he called me just a mistake and said I was emotionally unstable and financially useless. My chest tightened as I read. But I didn't cry. I thanked her. Then I sent everything to my lawyer. The next day, we filed the court documents. Charges: fraud, identity theft, emotional abuse, financial endangerment. My lawyer said it might take time. I told him I had nothing but time. Meanwhile, Emeka's world began to crumble. The company he worked with found out about the lawsuits. He was suspended. Word started spreading on social media thanks to Ruby. Apparently, he duped another woman out of 500,000 Nigerian nairas with fake investment advice. She joined in. It was no longer my battle alone. He was drowning in the ocean he created, and I was just watching from the shore. He called again. This time, he cried. "Clara, please. Don't destroy me. Think of our daughter." That's when I snapped. "You should have thought of her when you were forging my name. When you were sleeping around. When you left me in the hospital to handle your mess. You don't get to play father now." He begged. Threatened suicide. Then cursed me again when I stayed silent. That night, I stood by my daughter's crib and whispered. "You'll never know what it means to be used. I promise you. I'll raise you to know your worth, even when the world tries to sell you cheap." Because her father gave me pain. But she gave me purpose. The courtroom was suffocating. The air felt thick, like everything around me was waiting for the inevitable. I had prepared myself for this moment, but nothing could have prepared me for the weight of it. Walking into that courtroom, I was not the same woman who had cried herself to sleep in the dark months before. I wasn't even the same woman who had packed up her things and walked out of Emeka's house with a newborn in her arms. No. This woman was different. This woman was done. As I sat in the witness chair, my lawyer spoke for me. He read out the charges. He presented the documents, Emeka's loans, the fake signatures, the recordings of his threats, the messages from Ruby, and the bank statements with my name plastered across them. Each piece of evidence cut through the air like a knife, exposing the truth about the man I once called my husband. But it wasn't just Emeka who stood there, sweating and trying to hold on to whatever dignity he had left. His family was there too, sitting in the back, their eyes avoiding mine. They never once reached out to apologize for what he'd done to me. To us. Emeka sat, silent now, unable to even look me in the eye. He knew it was over. The judge called for the final verdict, and when it came, it was swift. Emeka was found guilty of all charges. Fraud. Identity theft. Financial exploitation. He was ordered to pay restitution, and the court also ruled that our daughter would live with me full-time, with Emeka's visitation rights revoked until he completed counseling and made reparations for the harm he caused. I stood up. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. I felt light. As I walked out of the courtroom, I didn't look back. Not even once. Emeka called me on the way home, his voice a broken mess of apologies and threats. He told me he would fight the verdict, that I hadn't seen the last of him. But I just pressed end call. I was done listening to his lies. When I got home, I held my daughter close to me. This time, I cried. Not from pain. But from relief. From strength. From knowing I had done what was best for her. For me. I was done being the woman who allowed herself to be controlled. I was done being his. And I would never again let anyone take my name or my power. We were free now. This is where the story ends. But Clara's journey, like all of ours, is ongoing. Every day is a new chapter. Every choice, a step toward healing. And no matter what Emeka or anyone throws her way, she will stand firm. Because sometimes, breaking free from the past is the hardest thing a woman will ever do. But it is also the most powerful. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next story.